finding necessarily or this is what I find important for me.
So all of us have some kind of story about who we are. As much as it starts with you, remember it starts with me.
All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Joel back here again on another It Starts With Me. And we've got a pretty strong topic here this morning. Kind of hits me a little bit hard in a little bit of a different way. And I was talking with Joel behind the scenes, and he actually gave one of the scriptures that is part of the inspiration of this episode. So I hope that you all enjoy it. It's all about being strong. And this one really goes out to all of those fathers out there. I know it's not Father's Day, but you know what? It's kind of Father's Day every day, just like it's Mother's Day every day. I mean, there's just certain things in life that we should recognize all the time. We shouldn't wait for a particular time or occasion. We should always recognize those things. That, our parents are some of those things that we should recognize. Our children are some of those, some people we should always recognize. We should do these things. We should always recognize our Father in heaven. That's something we should always recognize. You should always be excited about these things, even when times are difficult or you're not having the best of communication with your loved ones, with your parents or with your children. Doesn't matter. You should always recognize that, you could be without them. And like I said, this one goes out to the fathers. It's all about being strong. When it comes down to being a father, there's so many different occasions when you're raising your child up and you want them to grow. As scripture says that you should raise your child up in a way that they should go. And when they're older, they won't depart from that way. And that's so important that we're taking that time to actually raise our children up. In the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about how you're supposed to speak with them day and night. They even created the frontlets, and they put so that no matter where, the children of Israel were at, they were always able to remember God, their Father. You were supposed to talk about these things with your children as they rise and as they go about their day throughout the day, And so when it comes down to being strong, like one of the first things that we as fathers must do is we have to stand firm inside of our belief. Paul talked about this in the book of Ephesians. He was like, stand therefore, having your loins girded about you with truth and having on the breastplate of righteousness. And it's not that I'm talking about create your own righteousness. It's just that, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And whatever that is, you are planting inside of your children. Your children will then be weak as water. They'll have no sustenance. They'll just, whatever form, like this bottle, this water, no matter what, your child will be just like this water. It'll form to whatever container it's put into. Your child will just conform. If the whole world is upside down and you don't stand firm inside of your belief, then your children may just conform to the entire world, whatever that world is going on, And so that's the reason why we have to be so strong inside of our belief, because our belief shapes our life. And our life, it dictates who we are, right? The way that we live, it dictates who we are, and the spaces that we will inhabit comes from how we live the life that we live. So as a father, it's our job to really set the stage for those that come after us. Now, granted, they may grow up and decide that they don't want to be a part of anything that we have shared with them or showed them. But, if you set the bar and if you stay, focused and firm in your belief, and you teach them with compassion and love, then you have a great opportunity to be able to richly and goodly affect those that are around you, like your children, your wife, and your community. And I think that this is really big because we don't want to be weak as water. We don't want to be shaken in our boots. We don't want to have, feeble knees that are knocking against each other because we're unsure if we should make a decision or if we shouldn't. No, it's time to be sure of the decisions we make. And then, and sometimes it comes down to just make the decision. Really, that's what it comes down to. It's not even about whether, it's not so much about you being sure all the time. It's about making the decision. Because sometimes we get stuck and pause, waiting to see or, evaluating. Sometimes you just got to make the decision. And you got to take what comes with that decision. You got to be willing to do that. So the next thing is, is that patience. Patience. As a father, part of being strong is being patient. Paul said this in Galatians 4. He said, "My little children, of whom I travail in birth again until Christ be formed in you." Okay, so there's a great mystery behind that, but I'm not going to go deep into the mystery. It's just this much that I wanted to share. That means that I am going through much trouble, much heartache, till that perfection, till that goodness, till that good spirit, until, in his words, until Christ is formed in you. And so I just want to, let's take that down from the higher spiritual level, just down to a lower natural level even, if you will. Sometimes we are challenged because our children, they're growing up in such a way that maybe we're displeased with what's going on, but we have to hold on. We have to be patient. All of that work that we applied inside of our children, be patient, be patient. I got 3 children and all of them are turning out different. They're all a little bit different. Yeah, I'm blessed. They're all really good kids. All of them really good kids. But they're all like going different ways. And there's been different phases and times inside of each one of their lives where I was just kind of like, I was wondering, what's going to happen right now with my kids? How are they going to perform? Who are they going to become? I see they're at the road where they can go left or right, where they can do good or they can do bad. How do I affect them? What do I do? The challenge is on the table right now. And as a father, I'm always looking down the road. It's not just about what's happening today. It's like, this decision can be like a domino effect and can cause multiple decisions later that end up putting them in line with, situation 1, situation 2, situation A, situation B, toggling between right and wrong. And the worst thing that can happen is toggling between right and wrong is getting stuck somewhere in the middle and not being able to make a decision. I've always said that I want to teach my children how to make decisions, how to stand up for themselves. These are very important things. So if you stand in your belief, then it will go over as if osmosis, because your children will see it inside of you. If you're wavering inside of your mind and you're always wondering, then your children will always be wondering. They need to make decisions. And we're living in a society right now where either the young people of the world will not make decisions or they have no idea what to do with their life. And they're just waiting for anybody to tell them something to do. And as a father, be the first example. and then be the best. So with that being said, it's like, I decided that it's me who needs to take the hits. With all this patience, I need to take the hits. Paul said to the Philippians, I know how to be abased. I know how to abound. That's huge. This is something that I've struggled with. That's in Philippians 4:12. It's something I've struggled with because I'm an emotional creature. I am empathetic, 100%. I know it. I got it from my mother, and I can't blame it on anybody else because I'm so old at this point in time. That's funny that I've been able to create, who I am, the environment that I'm in, and strengthen the cords that I need to strengthen. So this is a part of who I am. But it's something that I've struggled with, because my children mean so much to me. And I'm sure that there are many of you out there who your children mean so much to you. My children mean so much to me, and when I'm not at the forefront of them, then that affects me. How do I deal with that? I have to deal with it day by day, because the challenge is always there where somebody is drawing or pulling their attention. And I'm making sure that I keep the line of communication clear and free. And this can be a challenging thing for a father. You got to be one with your wife so that the communication to your child remains solid, and this is where having a equally yoked woman is so necessary, because if you're unequally yoked, then you can find yourself in a really bad position because maybe she is not speaking up on your behalf when you're not there, and the children are getting the wrong impression. And that means that, you have to be in communication with your wife. Parenting is what that's called. Togetherness and consistency is what will give you the greatest amount of victory inside of your family. So as being a father, you also have to be a good husband. It's key. So lastly is the scripture that my friend Joma gave. And I think that this is a good one to close out on. And it said in the book of Joshua 1:7. And it said, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded me. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. And I think that this is very fitting, right? Because it kind of sums up everything. Moses was the type of man who stepped out and gave his everything. Everything. Moses didn't hold anything back. He gave all. And when I think about being a father, I think about I must give all. I can't falter on my belief. I must take a stand. I must realize that my children are not always at all times going to be at that same level that I see inside of them, and I must be patient. I must realize that before anybody else suffers a loss, that I must suffer the loss. I must bear the cross. I must be the example for them so that when they do become of age, they will always have the memory of what I have done inside of my life, and that will be their guiding light to be all that they can be. So wherever you are, remember, just be strong. You got this. Peace.